Memories. Memories can be vile, repulsive little brutes. Like children, I suppose. But can we live without them? Memories are what our reason is based on. To deny them is to deny reason itself. But that's the thing, isn't it? There is no sanity clause. We're not contractually bound to rationality, so when your train of thought is headed to one of those dark little corners of your past where the screaming is unbearable, just remember, there's always madness. Madness is the emergency exit. You can always step outside and lock the door on all those dreadful little thoughts.
This monologue would be the excerpt that would swiftly usher me into a lifelong love of comics and graphic novels. For my first time reading these lines and the masterpiece therefrom, I would find myself hopelessly enthralled by this medium and the stories conveyed within. To this day, I still remember that afternoon as if it were yesterday. It was sunny and warm out, a rare kind of occasion for State College where I'm from. I had the day off work, and so I decided to take a walk around downtown. I really didn't have anywhere specific in mind, but assumed I would find something of interest along the way. While walking, I passed the local comic book store, a place I was very familiar with, as it was where I purchased gifts for my father for almost every occasion. I knew how much he loved comic books, so on this occasion I decided to find one for myself, to try and understand his fascination. After some browsing, I finally settled on a selection that would eventually become my all-time favorite graphic novel, The Killing Joke by Alan Moore and Brian Boland. Growing up, I was never really a big fan of reading. It just didn't really grip me. It never pulled me in. However, as an artist, I loved things that were visually and aesthetically pleasing. But in graphic novels, I found this perfect fusion of the stories and storytelling that I loved and could really connect with, while also being aesthetically stimulated by the beautiful artwork. Even if you're not a graphic novel or comic book fan, and even if you don't really like reading all that much in general, there's one particular graphic novel that I implore every person to pick up and read at least once throughout their life. Saying that you read it is a bit of a misleading statement, as most of what's in it are just pictures. However, the story it conveys is phenomenal and can apply to almost any person's experience. The story I'm speaking of is called A Tale of Sand. This story is made from a screenplay that Jim Henson wrote when he was a young man, years before starting the Muppets or any of the works he was more famous for later in life. After he died, his son found this screenplay and decided to convert it into a graphic novel about a main character who really isn't explained or set up. This character stumbles into a town where everyone's excited for him and seems to be expecting him, but he has no idea why. They hand him a bag and a map, and they tell him he's running late and he better get out there because the race has already started. Just before being ushered out of the town, the sheriff leans in close to the main character and says, "Again, congratulations, boy. Time to go now. Oh, and one more thing. Don't trust the map." I feel as though this graphic novel is Jim Henson's attempt at an analogy for what it's like to grow up, become an adult, and start out on your journey. Start out on trying to find your future or build your career. As you graduate high school, everybody's excited for you and everybody congratulates you. But as you're then pushed out into the real world, everyone throughout your childhood has made it seem as though there's a very well-established plan or a map that you're supposed to follow. However, at every turn, you find out over and over again that there really isn't a map. And those who do follow that map tend to fall by the wayside of history. The way to find your way through successfully is to disregard the map, follow your own intentions, and do what you feel is best. Once again, this graphic novel is phenomenal. It's very minimal in text, so really anybody, even if you hate reading, can enjoy it. They're here in the library at Full Sail that any of us students can rent out for free. It's a text that you can easily get through start to finish within about 20 minutes. So I encourage everybody here, graphic novel fan or not, go to the library and pick up this book.